Disney World is cracking down on a brand new list of rules, but are you aware of all the recent changes? We're going to make sure you're on the right side of these theme park rules today here on DFB Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and I'm laying down the law today. Don't worry, you're not in trouble yet. But if you don't know about these new Disney World rules before you head on your vacation, you might find yourself out of money, out of luck, and out of time. And just for funsies, we'll also be adding a few DFB rules into the mix too. Things that the team and I believe you've got to do, as well as what we believe you should never do while visiting Disney World. Even though there aren't any actual theme park laws backing us up here, we just think they're important to us, and maybe you'll feel the same way. Okay, Disney rule number 1 we want to talk about, the updated hotel cancellation policy. First things first, gotta make sure you're not gonna potentially lose hundreds of dollars just because you accidentally overlooked Disney's new hotel cancellation policy update. Starting this year, as in right now, you can cancel your room-only Disney World hotel reservation up until 8 days before your arrival without penalty. If you cancel 0 to 7 days out from the reservation, your deposit, the cost of a one-night stay, will be completely forfeited. So how's that different from the cancellation policy that used to be in place until the end of 2024? Well, prior to January 1st, hotel reservations could be canceled up to 5 days before to avoid penalty. So this new change is a little more restrictive, but only by 3 days. You'll just want to be proactive and make any cancellations that you need to before you're a week out from your hotel check-in date, if something happens that causes you to pull the plug on the whole vacation for now. Now that's for room-only reservations. As for vacation packages, those are hotel and theme park ticket purchases bundled together. Rest assured that those cancellation policies remain the same as before. These packages can still be canceled up to 30 days out from your arrival date for a full refund. From 2 to 29 days, you can cancel but will be penalized a $200 cancellation fee. Prices are subject to change. And if you're canceling with fewer than 48 hours to spare, you're going to forfeit the whole cost of the package, which would be a major bummer, so something to note even though it hasn't changed. What I will say is that if you're ever wanting extra safety nets just in case you have to cancel your entire trip at the last minute, it might be worth investing in some travel insurance just for that added peace of mind. Lots of times travel insurance works like an umbrella over your entire trip, covering a whole lot of different expenses. That way, if something major were to happen that would force you to jump ship, like a medical emergency, a loss in the family, or severe weather conditions, you would still be able to get a reimbursement for several, if not all, of your unused travel expenses that are normally non-refundable. If you use Disney's own travel protection plan, then this also includes reimbursements toward individually purchased theme park ticket prices too, which you're not really going to see from other travel protection plans. But then again, you may find third-party travel insurance that's more affordable and covers more expenses than Disney's does. So it's best to look over your different options and figure out what's going to work out best for you if you're interested in the extra coverage. Ooh, I love this one. No luggage on Disney buses. Do I love it because you can't bring luggage on Disney buses? No, but I love it because the good news about this point is that you can now get from the Orlando International Airport to the Disney bubble for only $2. But the bad news is Disney's rules still cause you to pay more for your trip over to your hotel when all is said and done. So let me explain. The new Lynx route, called Link 311, has direct service from Orlando International Airport over to Disney Springs and back to Orlando International Airport again when it's time for the end of your trip. Now, the bus comes every 30 minutes each day from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., making it a convenient and super cheap way to get from the Orlando Airport over to your vacation destination. But the biggest issue here is that when you arrive at Disney Springs with all your luggage, you won't be able to take all that luggage onto one of the Disney World buses to make it the rest of the way to your hotel. That's where Disney's luggage rule comes into play. If you only brought a backpack with you, then that's fine. Don't worry about this rule and just hop on a Disney bus as usual. But if you're traveling with roll-on suitcases, which, let's be real here, most people are going to be doing that if they're flying in for an extended vacation, Disney's not going to let you take that suitcase onto one of their buses. So you're still going to need to book book a ride share like an Uber or a Lyft to get you from Disney Springs the rest of the way to your hotel. Now, a rideshare from Disney Springs will still be much cheaper than ordering one from the airport, so you'll still be able to save money by taking the 311 link or the link 311, even if it might involve an extra step or two, thanks to Disney suitcase rules to get you where you need to go. But main points to take away: $2 bus ride from International Airport to Disney Springs, yay. Can't take your suitcases on Disney buses, boo, but just grab a rideshare or a taxi or something from Disney Springs to your hotel, and it's not going to cost you that much. You're still going to come out ahead. Okay, next, let's talk about some rule changes to the Disney dining plan. Last year, the DDP returned to the Disney World scene after its long hiatus, which began when 2020 closures came around. Now, folks are once again able to pre-purchase the majority of their meals around Disney World before they arrive, just as long as they're purchasing a vacation package. But when the DDP returned, it looked different. While it's essentially the same as before, there are some rule changes that have come up with its return that might feel a little bit off just because you're not used to them. For example, there are now fewer plans to choose from. The last time the dining plan was available, you could choose from 4 different plans: the quick service plan for dining only at quick service restaurants, the basic and standard dining plan for a mix of dining at quick service and table service, the Disney Dining Plan Plus, which offered 2 meals a day wherever, as well as 2 snacks, and the deluxe Disney Dining Plan, which included 3 table service meals a day plus 2 snacks. Nowadays, only 2 options are available: quick service and basic. That's it, for now, at least. Also new to the dining plan now, you can't convert quick service credits. So in the past, if you wanted to snack around a park instead of having a quick service meal, you could convert 1 quick service meal into 3 snack credits. However, this conversion hack is no longer a thing, though I will admit we have seen some interesting variations on this new rule. For example, at L'Artisan de Glace and Epcot, cast members showed us a chart that indicated that 3 snack selections off the menu there, items such as a single or double scoop of gelato, a macaron, or a croque glacé, could be combined to count as a quick service meal credit. I've said it before and I'll say it again, your mileage is always going to vary with a Disney dining plan, so ask cast members questions when you're confused, but accept the responses you receive in return, since some restaurants around the parks might work differently than others. But one of the biggest rule changes that's happened on the DDP's return is that you can now use credits to pay for your meals at Disney lounges. It's just not going to give you the most bang for your buck, since more than likely you'll have to use table service credits. And considering the fact that most bars and lounges offer a small variety of bites and appetizers that typically don't cost a whole lot when you pay for them out of pocket, a full sit-down meal somewhere else is going to do a better job at using your table service credits to their full potential. So it's a really cool rule that's changed, but it's not really going to get you a big bang for your buck. Now, not every Disney World restaurant and lounge accept the dining plan, but we've got a fully updated list of participating Disney Dining Plan restaurants, all typed up and ready to send your way right now if you need it. Just scan the QR code you see on the screen or head to disneyfoodblog.com/DDP restaurants after this, and we'll send that list straight to your email for free really quickly. Okay, now it's time to introduce you to our first DFB rule of the video. Got a pen and paper out? Great, because you're going to want to take notes. DFB rule number 1, escape. Listen, sometimes the parks get a little too chaotic even for us, and that's saying a lot because our team is in Disney World every single day. So it's good to track down little pockets of peace inside the parks that'll help you get away from the crowds when you need a quick breather and a reset. Some of our favorite places to escape when things feel a little too chaotic are chill indoor attractions like Carousel of Progress in Magic Kingdom and the American Adventure in Epcot, hidden areas off the beaten path like the little side street off Main Street USA between Crystal Arts and Uptown Jewelers in Magic Kingdom, and the tucked away seating areas along Discovery River in Animal Kingdom. You're going to find me there all the time. And underrated table service restaurants that usually have last minute reservations, maybe Nine Dragons in Epcot, Skipper Canteen in Magic Kingdom. Now, next let's talk about the virtual queue rule updates. For the past few years, those virtual queues have been Disney's go-to solution when it comes to crowd control for their newly opened rides and attractions. Rise of the Resistance and Hollywood Studios was when the trend began, when this state-of-the-art dark ride opened in 2019. There doesn't seem to be a set rule on how long Disney chooses to operate new rides with virtual queue systems. Some stick around for a lot longer than others. Looking at you, Guardians of the Galaxy. But the universal truth regarding all rides that use virtual queues for however long they use them is this: if you want to ride the ride, then you've got to save your spot in the virtual queue via the My Disney Experience app. Otherwise, you're gonna miss out. Now, last year, Disney got rid of the Tron Light Cycle Run virtual queue over in Magic Kingdom and switched it over to a regular standby queue back in September. So, does that mean we're getting ready to see the end of virtual queues? Probably not. Per the release of this video, 2 other rides in Disney World continue to use virtual queues. Tiana's Bayou Adventure in Magic Kingdom, which opened last summer, and Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which opened way back in May 2022. I remember it well. I got very sick. Currently, there's no update about when these rides will switch over to standby, so you'll need to make sure you're familiar with how Disney's virtual queue rules work before you go, or you'll need to look into single or multi-pass purchases if you want to bypass that virtual queue hassle altogether. Just keep in mind that much like Tron did, these virtual queue rides could switch up at any time and start offering a normal standby queue instead. So stay alert, join our newsletter in case the rules change up on you again. Disney is going to be opening new rides, they're going to be opening new refurbished rides, and they don't usually like to have too many virtual queues in each park at one time. So you'll often see a new virtual queue added and one retired. The best way to pay attention to that happening and know when that date is going to occur is by joining our newsletter. It's totally free, and we'll send you all the details and probably a reminder of when it's going to open as well. Another quick tip, I would recommend studying up on the virtual queue service if you're wanting to ride the revamped Test Track 3.0 when it reopens later this summer in Epcot, because there's a high probability that Disney might be giving it a virtual queue system. Okay, our next DFB rule of the video, stay hydrated. Now, this isn't just a DFB rule. This should really be the law, as in, if we don't see you staying hydrated throughout the day, we should be able to pull a citizen's arrest for your own safety. We see so many people pass out due to dehydration in Disney World in the summer. It's scary. So, if you're going to the parks at any time of year, winter, spring, summer, or fall, make sure you know the best way to keep yourself and your group members all stocked up on H2O and electrolytes all trip long. Maybe that means bringing a reusable water bottle everywhere you go. Maybe that means grabbing free water around the quick service locations as often as possible. Honestly, even if it means having to purchase the overpriced water bottles in the park, go for it. Just as long as you're staying hydrated, keeping the horrible implications of dehydration like headaches and irritability and nausea and blackouts, you name it, off of your vacation planning list, then I'm on your side however you want to keep the water flowing. Okay, next thing that Disney's changing the rules on all the time, lightning lanes. Who's surprised by this one? Not me, not in the least. So, in case you're not familiar with all the lightning lane drama that took place last year, let me give you the SparkNotes version. First, there was FastPass and FastPass Plus, Disney's free service that allowed you to skip the lines for select rides throughout your visit. In October 2021, FastPass was out and Disney Genie Plus was in. Much like before, this service still provided access to shorter lines, now called lightning lanes. But you had to pay for these skip the line privileges, and you could only make selections on the day of your park visit. Then, on July 24th, 2024, Disney Genie Plus was out and multi and single pass was in. Again, the basics of this service stayed the same, still giving you access to lightning lanes for an additional price point, but multi and single pass now gives you the chance to pre-purchase and pre-select a certain number of lightning lanes before your visit. And just when we were getting used to those new rules, Lightning Lane went up and switched on us again by adding a third premium option to the lineup at the end of October last year, Lightning Lane Premier Pass. Now, this super inclusive option grants one-time entry for every Lightning Lane at a given park for one price, eliminating the need to monitor Lightning Lane availability and make new Lightning Lane reservations throughout the day. You just show up, scan, and ride. The price is steep, ranging from $119 to $449 per person per park, depending on when you visit and which park you choose. And originally, it was even steeper since it was only available for deluxe resort guests to purchase when it initially launched. Then, just a month later, Disney switched the rules again. Premier Pass was then available to all the guests who were staying at a Disney-owned hotel, whether it be value, moderate, or deluxe. The chance to add this third Lightning Lane service was now an option for them. Now, finally, starting just recently on January 21st of this year, Premier Pass changed again, one more time, and is now available for all guests to purchase, whether you're staying at a Disney hotel or not. Not a bad summary, right? Now, those who are staying at the Disney World hotels will be able to purchase Premier Pass up to 7 days in advance of their hotel stay. Everyone else not staying at a Disney World hotel can get Premier Pass 3 days in advance of their visit. But that may not be the end of the rule changes. Now Disney has stated that Premier Pass is still in its pilot stage, meaning it could very well switch up on us again in the future. But per the release of this video, this is the most updated Lightning Lane rule we've got for you right now, and we'll be sure to make another video with more updated rules the next time we see them change again. Okay, I've got another DFB tip for you because all the Lightning Lane changes can get very confusing, so I think we need a little break, don't you? Yes. Okay, the next DFB rule on our list, ride the People Mover. Yep, I'm AJ, the self-proclaimed president of the People Mover fan club, and today's meeting centers around the one rule of the People Mover fan club. You gotta ride this ride when you're in Magic Kingdom. Sorry, I don't make the rules. That's a bold-faced lie. I just made that rule up just now. But honestly, there is something so soothing about riding those low-key B-tier rides in the parks, especially if you're tired of waiting in long lines for things. Along with People Mover, you might also be interested in checking out other super chill attractions that don't usually have too long of waits, like Carousel of Progress at Magic Kingdom and Living with the Land Grand Fiesta Tour starring the Three Caballeros and Spaceship Earth in Epcot. I'm feeling relaxed just thinking about it. All right, I'm ready to ruffle some feathers again. New rules for soda refills. Soda Goblin AJ has been disturbed from her slumber because restrictions on unlimited soda refills does not make me happy. Unfortunately, one of my new favorite soda hacks in Disney's Animal Kingdom was recently taken away. Back in 2024, we discovered a fun souvenir available at Yak and Yeti local food cafes. An exclusive 40-ounce tumbler that give you free refills all day long. According to the old rules, if you brought this tumbler back for another Animal Kingdom day, additional refills would only cost $2.12 for the whole day. Now, this was the only refillable mug in a Disney World park. Is very exciting. The biggest caveat was that you could only get this refill deal at Yak and Yeti local food cafes, nowhere else. Unfortunately, there was still a lot of confusion surrounding where these tumblers could be refilled and where they couldn't. So at the beginning of this year, local food cafes continues to sell the tumbler, but they've taken away the free refill perk attached to it. Now there are still refillable mugs that you can purchase on Disney property, including the main resort refillable mugs that you can only use at resort quick services, and the water park refillable mugs that you can only use at the water parks. But don't forget that you can bring your own drinks to the park too, if you'd like. I do this with Diet Coke bottles all the time. You just get them from the grocery store ahead of time since they're a whole lot cheaper there than purchasing them in the parks over and over again and carry them on through park security with you. Just make sure the drink you bring isn't inside a glass bottle and is non-alcoholic. Our next DFB rule, know the best bathrooms. Listen, when you gotta go, but you don't want to go and have to wait in a long line just for a free stall or feel like you're all cramped up with everyone and their mother inside the same bathroom. So here are a few of our favorite private porcelain retreats that I sure hope serve you well. The bathrooms at the Caribbean Beach Skyliner station, rarely ever busy. They're super clean and they're quiet. Over in Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom, head over to the right of the Space Mountain entrance and find the restrooms behind the Rocket Tower Plaza stage. These have quite a few stalls and are usually a lot calmer and cleaner than other Tomorrowland pit stops. In Town Center in Disney Springs, inside the little alleyway leading up to the Disney bus stop, you'll find some private restrooms tucked away out of sight. And over by Imagination Pavilion in Epcot, head straight to the right side of the rides building to find some secret restrooms tucked away and off the beaten path. Now, if you are not subscribed to our channel, and you love finding out about secret bathrooms, please subscribe to our channel because we talk about secret bathrooms all the time. Okay, couple new rules about going to space, specifically going to space in Magic Kingdom. On Space Mountain, guests are now no longer allowed to have any handheld devices, cameras, phones, etc. while riding the coaster. Not that you'd be able to film much on it anyways, it's pitch black in there. But those items must be secured on your person, like in your pocket or in the storage pouch or left behind with someone who's not riding. But Space Mountain's not the only Tomorrowland coaster on the block that's pretty restrictive when it comes to loose articles. If you plan on riding Tron, you're going to need to use one of the free lockers provided midway through the queue to store your stuff. This is literally the only ride in Disney World that requires you to use lockers. Universal has a ton that require lockers. This is the only one in Disney World. You can unlock one of these lockers with the Magic Band or your physical key to the World card for easy access. However, if you're using your phone to store your park ticket instead, you'll need to reach out to a cast member for a temporary locker card. There is a small compartment on the ride vehicle that can store items like phones and glasses and wallets, but anything larger than that has to be stored in a locker if you're riding Tron. Okay, next DFB rule, don't always listen to Aunt Susan. Bless her heart, we love her and all, but by golly, she sure does lead us astray sometimes, especially when she's under the impression that all Disney restaurants are basically the same, so it doesn't really matter which one you decide to go to. Yes, it does matter, Aunt Susan, it matters a lot. Ordering a regular burger at Cosmic Ray Starlight Cafe in Magic Kingdom is going to be a whole lot different than ordering a barbecue burger at Regal Eagle Smokehouse in Epcot, and even more different from ordering the absolutely incredible burger over at Steakhouse 71. And the churros from a vendor cart around the parks might be disappointing, but churros from Nomad Lounge and Animal Kingdom are going to be possibly the best churros you've ever had. Aunt Susan may not realize it, but there are endless possibilities and dining varieties all around Disney World, which is why we recently revamped our DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining. We are the experts in this field. We have been eating at Disney World for so many years, and we eat at every single restaurant every year. So this guide really illustrates just how vibrantly different each Disney dining experience can be. If you want to check out our new guide, just to prove Aunt Susan wrong, go ahead and check out dfbstore.com. Make sure to type in code YouTube if you decide to go ahead and purchase one of our guides. Next on our list of new rules in Disney World that Disney's starting to crack down on, parking around the Disney World hotels has been a whole lot more strict ever since the COVID closures, and it's getting more so. Technically, the only people who are allowed to park at the resort hotels are the people staying at them or people eating at their table service restaurants, though you must show your advanced dining reservation for proof when you get to the front gate. And I know that some folks have mentioned that select hotels have even stricter guidelines than others, but a good rule of thumb is to, well, not press your luck. Now, that doesn't mean you're not allowed to go visit other hotels. You can always jump aboard one of Disney's complimentary transportation offerings and do a little resort hopping most of the time. Sometimes Disney will even crack down on this specifically during their ultra busy seasons. For instance, some of our team members have had issues in the past attempting to board a boat from Magic Kingdom to Fort Wilderness during the holidays. If they didn't have confirmation of stay or a reservation for the Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review, they weren't allowed on. And of course, my team was very respectful about this. We know how chaotic it gets everywhere in Disney World that time of year, so it's understandable that at times Disney might need to cap off guests to gain a little crowd control. But it is important to keep in mind that this can happen. Doesn't happen a lot, but if Disney feels like they need to manage demand better, they'll do what they can to make sure the guests who have a room booked at specific resorts are kept comfortable and not feeling like sardines piled into a lobby. Okay, so this rule is so new that it might not even be like in the books yet, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway because I think it's going to be really helpful for a lot of you going this year. At the start of 2025, Disney rolled out a new perk for guests staying at any of their hotels. Free water park tickets on check-in day. This is great. Those of you who are subscribed to our channel know that we talk about this all the time. But according to Disney, these tickets are non-transferable and cannot be used on a different day other than your resort check-in day, even if the water park is closed due to weather or other factors, which can be a real bummer, especially since the weather's really out of anyone's control. But here's an interesting twist for you that I want to make sure you know about. One of our DFB readers, Ken, who's awesome, hey Ken, recently reached out to us with an interesting plot thickening experience. Just recently, Ken and their family went down to Disney but couldn't use their water park ticket because Blizzard Beach was closed on the arrival day. So their family was given a special pass that they could redeem anytime during their stay to go to the water park. Along with this information, Ken attached a photo of a water park arrival day benefit extended recovery pass that had popped up in their Disney World app, showing dates valid through the length of their trip. So that sent our team into full detective mode because what on earth is going on here? We traced our steps back to Disney World's official website to see if anything had changed, but the information hasn't budged. It still says the water park benefit is only on the day of check-in, and usage of this benefit is subject to availability. Water parks are subject to extended rehabilitation, seasonal capacity, and weather closures, and may close for other reasons. So it looks like Disney's currently handling all this on a case-by-case basis, and there's no in-writing guarantee that this type of pass will be offered if the resort's water park is closed on the day of your check-in. That being said, if you do arrive at Disney World to find either Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon shuttered due to inclement weather, I'd highly recommend checking your My Disney Experience app ASAP to see if you've received the same type of pass. Our next DFB rule, plastic cheese is a must. So this is that gooey, golden nacho cheese-like sauce that has been a DFB staple dipping sauce for years and years and years now. I'm not planning on abandoning it anytime soon. Plastic cheese is most prominent over in Disney's Hollywood Studios, where you can find it at Backlot Express and lots of food stands along Sunset Boulevard. But Magic Kingdom also keeps hold of this cheesy goodness at quick services like Casey's Corner. Typically, plastic cheese will cost you about $1 extra, but that $1 extra means enhanced flavor for your fries and corn dog nuggets and onion rings and tater tots or whatever other savory snack you think needs a little perking up. Now, if you're interested in plastic cheese and where to get it, we got a lot of blog posts about that, so don't worry about it. We got you taken care of over on DisneyFoodBlog.com. It's time to talk about one of my favorite Disney rules, and that is the diarrhea rule. Yes, that's right. Disney does have a diarrhea rule, and outside of several of their splash pads, you'll find a list of rules. One of them says, clear as day, you're not to use the fountains if you are ill with diarrhea. I don't even want to think about the situations that led to Disney having to add this to the list of rules. I know getting sick on your Disney World trip is awful. Believe me, I know it all too well. It's important to try your best to not spread germs to other people around the park. So if you find yourself sick on your trip and don't feel well enough to leave your hotel for a doctor visit, remember that you can do a virtual visit. Disney partners with Advent Health, and they can offer virtual visits to you through the My Disney Experience app. If you need medication after that virtual visit, Advent Health can help deliver the meds to your Disney World resort. But if you're in need of a tummy soother ASAP, the Disney Resort gift shops do have over-the-counter medications you can purchase immediately, which, yes, are a little pricier than you'll find in the drugstores outside of property, but may be worth it in the case of emergencies. Okay, our next DFB rule, Ziploc baggies, or whatever. It doesn't have to be Ziploc brand. Whatever baggie you can bring, you're going to definitely benefit from. I don't want to be dramatic, but these baggies have saved my life on more than one occasion. They saved me when I stepped in a puddle and needed to switch out my wet socks. They saved me when a sudden Orlando rainstorm hit and I realized my backpack was still open, but my phone and charger had already been tucked safely away in a baggie. And they saved me when I purchased carrot cake cookies and can only take a few bites before I'm already snacked out. So I get to save it for later and eat it for breakfast the next day. They also save me when my kid decides to run through a splash pad and I have to change his entire outfit, or when my kid has a little accident and we have to change his entire outfit. Ziploc baggies are so useful. I always have 2 or 3 in my bag ready to go for any accidents, emergencies, issues, or just to store some food that I'm not going to be able to finish. So I make it a rule that I pack those freezer bags because there's a high chance I'm going to use all of them before I head back home. So this is a brand new rule that's more of a FDA rule rather than a Disney rule, but it still impacts Disney quite a bit, and therefore it impacts us. Recently, the FDA banned the use of red dye number 3 in foods sold across the country. And in case you don't know what that is, basically it's a red colored additive that helps give that neon red sheen to things like candy and baking decorations and frostings and cookies and toaster pastries, and apparently is potentially linked to some pretty nasty health concerns. Food and drink manufacturers now have until 2027 to find an alternative to the food coloring additive. But how does that impact Disney World? Well, as soon as the FDA banned it, we decided we wanted to go see what in Disney World had it. And we went on a special fact-finding mission just to see how many Disney snacks will be affected. And it's way more than we realized. Apparently, a lot of Disney pre-packaged candy contains red dye number 3, including those swirly twirly lollipops, the sour taffies, the flavored Main Street popcorn mixes, and rock candy sticks. We also learned that the Mickey Vanilla Cupcake that you can find in lots of Disney World's hotel quick service locations also has red dye number 3 in both the buttercream frosting and in the sprinkles. So does this mean we no longer get to enjoy these fire engine red colored treats anymore? Well, Hakuna Matata, my dudes, Disney has until 2027 to either get rid of these products or change their formulations. And something tells me they're going to choose the latter. After all, Disney has several treats that still use that bright red coloring without using red dye number 3, like candy apples and Rice Krispie treats and sour cherry balls. Bria and I could probably split a thing of sour cherry balls and have them downed in a night, so thank goodness those are safe. In the meantime, if this is something you're concerned about, make sure to check those ingredients listed on each product before you buy it, and you should be good to go. Now, the most important thing to keep in mind when it comes to Disney World rules is rules can and will change in Disney, so it's important to stay up to date on what's new and what's relevant so you don't fall behind. Oh, also, new rules might sound intimidating, but once you're familiar with them, they're not hard to follow. And DFB rules aren't really rules. They're lifestyle choices. Or maybe the word I'm actually searching for is useful tips, which is what we're always trying to accomplish here at DFB. Making sure that you have the best tips and tricks so you're set up for success in the parks, no matter when you decide to go or what rules Disney decides to roll out next, because you know they're going to change them. As always, we want to continue helping you plan for your upcoming trip to the Disney parks, so make sure to check out our Ultimate Disney World Park Guides 2025 playlist next. And don't forget to download that full list of restaurants that'll accept the Disney dining plan this year by going to disneyfoodblog.com/DDP restaurants. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.